All right. So yeah, I just wanted to thank those of you who made it so far to the call. Like I said, there may be some other people jumping on. Actually, I should go ahead and mute everybody now that we're getting started. Manage participants. All right. So I'm going to take everybody through kind of what this whole coaching thing is about, share a bit of my story, and then at the end we'll have a question and answer for you guys to ask anything that maybe I haven't answered throughout the call. So I guess right now the three of you who are not already coaches, I'd love to know. Well, I guess Leela and Tammy, you can tell me, like, did you guys invite them or maybe another coach did? I'm just curious who's here from me and who's here from other people. Tamara or Tamara, are one of these people yours?
Yeah, Shauna. I invited Shauna.
Awesome. Okay, and then I see we've got Chris and Annie. And let me see if I can unmute you. I just would love to know. Chris, who invited you here?
I saw you on Instagram, actually.
Yay! I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks.
Yeah, all right. I will. And then let me try to unmute you, Miss Annie. Oh, there we go. All right, Annie, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Can I ask who invited you here tonight?
I saw you on Instagram too.
Yay, that makes me so happy. Okay, sweet. All right, just wanted to get a good feel. So the reason I asked that is because how we run this business is that we do it as a team. So, you know, Tamar invited somebody here, and Tamar is one of my coaches, and so she's able to invite her people to things like this. So that's just a really cool thing about how we do the business. You're not gonna, if you were to decide to go through with this, it's not something that you have to kind of figure out on your own or master on your own. You're gonna be able to lean into the support of our team. All right, just one second. Come on. I'm telling you, I just got this Mac computer in the last month, and I just still cannot master it. The double click with two fingers. Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry guys. So it's just a really cool team dynamic that you're able to lean into the coaches who've been in longer than you. They can kind of help you to learn how to talk about things, learn how to help people better. But I'm going to go into all of that tonight. But that's the reason that I asked, because I knew that it's not just people I invited here tonight, that it was people from my team who invited others to the call as well. And so I'm not sure if those of you who are on the call already got to check out the, at least people I talked to, I should have sent you a Weebly site that I made that kind of explains what coaching is. And so if you're watching the recording and you haven't had a chance to check out that site, reach out to me and let me know, and I'll send you that link. I've made a site where I've pretty much gone through and explained the basic things that I know everybody really wonders about and maybe even worries about when they're looking at this whole coaching idea. Like, is this a sales? Do I have to be really salesy? Do I have to be at my goal weight? How much does it cost? I've kind of gone through most of that in that site. But I'm going to go through a lot of that tonight as well. But so if you haven't seen that site, let me know and I can send you that link. So right off the bat, I will go through just really how this whole coaching thing started, because I think that will answer a lot of people's, probably the first question you have in your mind, like, what is this really about? How did this even come to be? And so how this all started was back in the day, if you guys remember, seeing these infomercials for programs called P90X and Insanity. This is way back in the day. We all know those programs. We've heard of them. And so Beachbody was making these awesome home workout programs. They found that there was this trend. Obviously, there's a trend of, lack of health and obesity, but not just obesity, like internal just organs not functioning well. People were just really unhealthy in our culture. And so they found people were going to the gym, paying these memberships, but didn't know what they were doing at the gym. They didn't know what moves to do. They didn't know how to handle their nutrition or anything. And so Beachbody started teaming up with professional nutritionists and trainers and creating home workout programs where people basically to take away their excuses. A lot of people were saying, I don't have time to drive to the gym. I work weird hours. And so I'm never able to work out during gym hours. I have to get a babysitter. I can't afford a trainer. And so Beachbody said, hey, like, what if we teamed up with these amazing trainers, made awesome programs that tell them what to do every single day and takes away the excuses of having to drive somewhere and get a sitter or pay for a gym membership, so on and so forth. So they made these awesome programs. Amazing programs, really legitimate workouts, especially it's like the opposite of what people would expect. Since you're working out at home, you would think it's going to be easy, but they're not. But the problem they ran into, even though they were selling a lot of programs, they found that most people were buying these programs, putting them on the shelf, and never doing them, never completing them. And I don't know about you guys, but that was my story. I had burned Insanity years and years ago, probably 7 years ago, and I tried it for like a week and a half, and I think I tried several times and I failed every time. So my story is not unique. A lot of us have had that story. And so what they found was the people who were actually sticking with the programs, the people who were getting results, they were in these online chat groups, or is that what they were called? Like chat groups? Yeah, back in the day when there were like chat pages on the internet. And so they found that people were kind of creating their own systems of accountability where they would check in and say, hey, like, these are my before pictures. I'm 7 days in. These are my updated pictures, or I didn't get my workout in today. Like, will you guys hold me accountable to do it tomorrow? They had kind of formed these systems of accountability. And by doing that, they were actually empowered to finish the program. And then because they finished the program, they of course got results, because these are awesome programs. It's just people weren't sticking to them usually. And so that's kind of how this whole coaching thing was birthed. They realized that it was the accountability factor that people were missing. And so teaming up the amazing workout programs, the nutrition guides that they had nutritionists make for people, and kind of break it down into, what are your goals? Are you trying to build muscle? Are you trying to lose weight? How much do you weigh now? Breaking all those things down and putting them into people's hands, and then giving them the support that they needed to actually stick to it. That's how this whole coaching thing came to be. So I like to go over that first, just so people, I don't know, I feel like that fills in a lot of gaps and really honestly gives you an overview of like what this company's really about. They could have been just about sales, like a lot of companies are. And if they were really just about sales, they would have just continued to do the infomercial thing and not really set people up for actual success. So it really just shows you, like, we are really big on community. We're really big on accountability and being authentic through our trials. We're certainly not perfect. I'll go into all of that in a little bit. But yeah, that's an overview of what we really care about. So first, I'm going to share a little bit about my story. Whether I invited you here or somebody else did, you're probably wondering, why is this chick talking? Or really, what's the story behind me as a coach? So I'll rewind a little bit back. I had always struggled with depression and anxiety and even suicide. I did gain a solid like 30 plus pounds in college, and then a solid 60 pounds with my pregnancy. But weight really honestly hadn't really been my personal struggle. It was more the depression, anxiety, and suicidal stuff. Okay, so then fast forward, I had just gotten married, and a couple months after, it was 2 months after the wedding day, my husband said, hey, I'm going to go for an errand. I'll be back. And then he didn't come back that night, and he didn't come back the next morning. He didn't come back the next day or the next day. A few days later, he calls from across the country. He had taken a one-way flight and decided this was all a mistake. I don't want to be married to you. This was just a mistake. And so that was a really big trigger for me, for my suicidal, just the way I let my brain kind of be before was just to accept defeat. And so I got really suicidal at that time. And I just sat for 3 days, and I didn't eat, I didn't drink, I didn't move, I didn't bathe. I just sat on my phone and I Googled fastest ways to commit suicide, least painful ways to commit suicide, cheapest materials to use to commit suicide. I was just fantasizing and plotting out my suicide. And then I was really sick. After he left, and I thought, I was just really distressed about him leaving. And I spoke to my mom on the phone. I had moved across the country, quit my job, emptied my bank account to get married and all of that. And so now I was all alone, whatever, by myself. He had left. And so talked to my mom on the phone. She said, hey, why don't you take a pregnancy test? I did. And 3 days later, found out I was pregnant. And so for me, everything shifted in that moment because I really honestly was at a point where I had no hope for myself. I had no desire to muster up any hope for myself. But so I was okay with committing suicide, honestly. But at the point that I knew someone else was involved, I couldn't stomach that anymore. I knew, like, if I take my own life, that's pretty selfish because it's going to hurt people. It's going to hurt my family, but I can't bear this pain anymore. But now if I commit suicide, I'm killing someone else, not just myself. And so I couldn't do it. And so fast forward, somehow, honestly, by the grace of God, I made it through that season. My family and friends really surrounded me and supported me. Make it through the pregnancy, have the baby. My baby's a few months old, and I just knew. I said, okay, listen, I made it through this. I made it through this really hard time, but I just have this feeling, like, I know I've always struggled with depression. I know it always comes back around. And if I don't do something to change the chemicals in my body that make me prone to be depressed, if I don't change something, there's going to be a day where my daughter is telling the story of how her mother committed suicide. I just knew that was going to come if I didn't do something. And I'd played sports back in the day. And so I knew, I remembered that just from all the activity, the endorphins kind of helped to boost my mood. And so I thought, okay, maybe if I get physically active again, it can help me to not be depressed. And so during my pregnancy, I had been kind of, like we all do, browsing Instagram and looking at inspirational accounts. And I found a few people on Instagram, and I reached out to them to kind of ask, like, that had transformation pictures, physical transformations. And I asked this one girl, I think she was with Herbalife. She was kind of like an Instagram celebrity. And asked her, what can I do to lose weight, get active, get healthy, just have my baby. And she didn't ask me any questions. She just sent me links and said, put this in your cart, add this one in your cart, and then add this one in your cart. And it just felt like I was just a sale to her, honestly. And then at the same time, I was talking to another girl on Instagram who I found, and she said, hey, let's get on the phone. Let's talk about, like, what are your goals? What do you want out of this? Not everyone wants to lose weight. Is this about weight for you? I was like, no, actually, I really don't want to be depressed. I can't get back to a suicidal place. Now I have a daughter. And, she talked to me about what were my real goals, what was going to motivate me on the days when I just didn't want to show up anymore and keep going. She asked me, like, what parts did I usually struggle with? Was nutrition hard for me? What were the hard parts? So she could really set me up with what I needed, because we're all different than the next person. What did I actually need to succeed? And I just felt like I was a person. I wasn't just a sale. I was a person with a story, and she cared enough to take the time to figure out what I really needed. So I went with her. And at the time that I reached out to her, I was working 3 jobs. I was now a single mom of a 4-month-old baby. I was on government aid. I was on WIC and food stamps. And I was in a really hard place. And so I really didn't have extra money just sitting around. But I knew I wanted this to be a lifestyle thing. I didn't want it to just be a 1-month fad. And so I said, hey, do you have a discount thing? I think actually she said, hey, we have this discount. I said, yes, I want whatever the discount is. I don't want to be a coach, but I want the coach discount because I need all the help I can get. I'm really in a hard place. So I signed up as a discount coach. And that's kind of how it all started for me. And it wasn't until I completed my first program, which was 21 Day Fix, that I got some results. And my coach told me to post them on my public wall. And I was like, I don't want anything to do with that. And then I just thought, like, you know what, that's really selfish, because what if there's another single mom who's really depressed and who maybe she would get the motivation or the hope that, if she got active, she could get out of her depression? Or, like, what if I'm holding that catapult back from someone else who really needs this because I'm afraid? I'm afraid that my old boyfriends will laugh at me because I got fat, or, because I'm now, I don't know. I had all these stupid lying fears that were holding me back. And I said, screw that. So I posted it, and that's really where my coaching took off. So just wanted to share that. That's my background story. Everyone's story is different. We've got coaches on our team who, we have a mom of 3 kids. She works used to work at like 60 hours a week. She's a nurse. She's now cutting down her hours thanks to, the income that Beachbody is bringing her. Another coach on our team she's a mom of 2 and she teaches Zumba classes, not because she loves fitness, but because she has realized she needs that accountability. Like she needs to be held to it in order for her to execute this as a lifestyle. And she's big into theater. So we all have different passions. Some of us have kids, some of us don't. Some of us really love fitness and some of us really hate fitness. If I'm honest, I'm always honest. I really don't like working out, but I just know that I need it for the endorphins. And that's more important to me than just my feelings and what's convenient and comfortable. So to fast forward to where I'm at now, I'm no longer on state aid. I'm no longer living in my parents' basement. I was able to cut down. So when I added in coaching to my 3 jobs, that left me with 4 jobs. I've now one by one eliminated all of those jobs, and I just only work as a coach. All of my income comes from coaching. I don't work full-time hours, but that's all of my income comes from that. And yeah, it's weird talking about income, but for the sake of just like what's feasible, now about $1,200 to $2,000 a week is what I'm personally making. Obviously, some make more, some make less. It's really honestly up to how diligent you are and kind of what you do with it. Are you going to stick it out? Are you going to quit the second that someone says, no, I'm not interested? Or are you going to be teachable? Basically, we're going to give you the tips you need to get to whatever your goal is. Maybe your goal is to make $300 a week, or maybe your goal is to make, I don't know, $300,000 a month. Like whatever your goal is, I'm going to help you get there. But at the end of the day, it's going to be 100% up to you to not give up. So that's all backstory. I like to kind of a little bit, not freestyle. I've got everything that I want to get across to you guys, but every call, every group of people is different. And so sometimes I change it up a bit. So you will see me kind of looking over at my paper to see what part I want to hit on next. Okay. So a lot of people have misconceptions about what coaching is. And so I want to quickly go through what coaching is and what coaching is not. So coaching is definitely not, we're not experts. We don't have to have certifications. No one's going to make you go get a training certification or a nutritionist certification. You don't have to be any of those things. That's not our job. All of our programs are made by professionals. And so the materials that you hand over to people who come to you for help, they're very well made and they're trustworthy. Your job is literally just to use those things, be proof. Like you're basically a walking billboard. Like, hey, I'm using this and it's actually working. You don't have to be at your goal weight. You don't have to have your dream body, but that's almost more relatable when people see you kind of transitioning and developing before their eyes. That feels a lot more approachable to them when they're able to look at someone that resembles them, who is, who's actually starting to see some results that they would desire, or someone who struggles with the same things. And so, when they see a mom of 3 kids who's still doing her workouts, even though she's super busy, that's really inspiring. So it's the things that you might think would disqualify you from being really good at coaching are actually the things that are going to draw people to you and really make you sharing your journey really impactful for them, because they want to see someone like them doing it and that it's working for them. So we're not experts. We're definitely not perfect. We're sharing our struggles along the way. Really, the whole concept of coaching is that we're walking the journey ourselves. Like I said, my coaching started for me when I did a program and shared about it. And that's how the whole thing was birthed. And so it took me kind of going through that fire of like learning what kind of meal prep is most effective for my lifestyle and what time of day is really best for me to do my workouts. Like it all came from me walking out that journey. And so I'm not perfect. I talk about it when I eat donuts and French fries. I don't sabotage myself and do that every single day or every other day. But you don't have to become perfect. The point is not perfection. The point really is sharing your life and your journey and just continuing to work on yourself. Like I don't know any other job that says you are the first priority. For me personally, all the jobs I've had before, and I think this is true for most of us, usually your jobs and your family they suck everything out of you, and it's like you're the last thing. And I think that's actually in our brains, like, this is normal. This is how it is. Like, I get left to last. And, you almost kind of feel guilty for expecting or wanting to take time for yourself. So for this job to literally say, no, like, you absolutely must take care of yourself. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to take care of yourself. Everything falls apart if you're not working on your energy levels and on your mindsets and on your disciplines. So I love that about this business. Above all else, really above the income, above the freedom of time, of travel, of all of that, my absolute favorite part of this job really is the fact that it's given me a system to hold me accountable to taking care of myself. And I think I would venture to guess that most coaches feel that way. The other stuff is amazing. It really, for me to not have to work 4 jobs anymore, it's such a blessing. It really is. But this was the first time in my entire life that I had stuck with anything health or fitness, nutrition related for more than a week and a half to 2 weeks. I really thought of myself, I am a quitter. I never stick with these things. It will never work for me. So for this to give me a system that held me accountable and has now for almost 2.5 years now, I've been consistent on this journey with myself. And so that above all else, I really think that's like the top blessing and benefit of coaching. So we're not experts. We're not perfect. We are not pushers. We're not pushy salespeople. And so hopefully if you guys got a chance to look at the Weebly site on what is coaching, you kind of got a feel for this with the videos that I posted there. But we're definitely not, we're not distributors. We're not reps. We're like I said, we are walking billboards. We are actually using this stuff. We're actually working on our lifestyles. We're actually sharpening our weaknesses. And that is our billboard. We don't post pictures of products and go, buy this for $39.99 or, no, like, I just post about my life. I'm actually working on my life and I just post about it. I post about me and my life. And if that draws you to it, if that inspires you, great. That's my sales pitch. I'm not making a sales pitch. I'm just working on me and letting people know, let it be seen, basically. So we're not pushers. We really just share our lives. We are not all extroverts. I think most people kind of expect to do something like this where you're putting yourself out there, that you would be super extroverted. I am extremely introverted. Not obviously, but I know how to engage with people. I'm not, personality or brain dead. So a lot of us are introverts, and this is actually a really good business for introverts because I'm able to engage with people. Introverts are usually really good listeners and are very caring. Not that extroverts are not, but introverts really have that gift of being able to sit and listen to people and really discern how they're feeling, what they're struggling with. And so 1, we're good at this job for that reason. And 2, we're able to kind of have our space and not have to always be interacting with people. You kind of have that safety of the screen and getting to kind of choose what you share and what you don't share. So surprisingly, this business, I think, is actually dominated by introverts. Of course, extroverts can do well with this. I think it's safe to say extroverts can freaking do well with anything. Extroverts, I envy that personality trait. But I think people are usually surprised to hear that most coaches are introverts, including myself. And then the last thing I wanted to say that we are not bored. We're not people with a ton of time on our hands. Actually, hands down, the most successful coaches are actually people who are really busy. There's a number of different theories behind why that is. I've heard quotes, I think maybe John C. Maxwell may have said this, someone else might have said this, but basically, if you want something done well, give it to a busy man. Give it to someone who's busy, because busy people they're the ones who get stuff done. They're the ones who aren't lollygagging around. They're not letting themselves be paralyzed in fear. Busy people we're usually the ones who say, we see something and we go, yeah, I want to do that. And we have a tendency to overload our plates. I have a tendency to do the same thing. Luckily now this coaching has given me a lot of freedom to take on more of the things that I really care about and I'm passionate about. But definitely there's a misconception that in order to be able to take on coaching and be successful with it, you have to have a ton of time on your hands. I actually find that when I'm busier, I I do better with coaching because it kind of forces me, like, I've only got this much time to sit down and do my coaching work, to, you know, check in with my clients or make my post or whatnot, respond to emails. I focus, I get to it. But when I'm like, oh, I've got the whole weekend, or I've got, you know, all this extra time, I scroll my Facebook. I'm not as focused and, you know, tunnel vision. And so, yeah, hands down, we are not bored people. We're usually the people who already have too much going on. We just find a way to add in and include the things that really matter to us, even when that means to, you know, eliminate stuff that really isn't that important. I don't watch TV anymore. I very rarely watch movies. But honestly, for me to build a strong foundation, to build freedom for my daughter and I, to be able to travel, to be able to have time off, to be able to just have the life that I would dream up for her, but honestly didn't think was possible as a single mom. I literally said to one of my best friends when I first had her, my daughter, I remember saying, you know, I was heartbroken because I said, it's just not fair. Single moms don't get to dream about being a stay-at-home mom. Like, at least married moms, you know, they have the option of that spouse who can bring in the income and that mom can stay home. Single moms don't get to dream about being a stay-at-home mom. And she reminded me recently, now that I'm a stay-at-home single mom, like, do you see what happened? Like, it is possible. So it has afforded me that blessing. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all for that. But so what we are is, so those are the things we are not. Hopefully you've gotten the point by now. What we are, we're walking billboards, not perfect. We're just sharing our lives. We basically step into a place of saying, I want to be held accountable. I'm done quitting. I'm tired of quitting on myself, because I would say 99% of people, and coaches included, have always quit. We've always started something and stopped, started and stopped. I think that's just a normal human trait. So we are people who say, I'm done quitting. Like, this matters too much to me. I'm done quitting. Whatever it takes, no matter how hard, no matter how many hurdles, I'm going to stick with it this time because my health matters. Everything else I'm trying to do in life is going to fall apart if I don't take care of myself. I can't keep up with my family. I can't keep up with my job. I can't pursue my passions if I'm exhausted and sick and mentally discouraged. I have to take care of myself. So we hold ourselves accountable, and then we basically provide and set up a track for other people to also step into that system of accountability so that they can get to their goals. That's literally the whole concept of coaching. We're really, really big on community. And so when I talk about accountability, when people come to us for help with health and fitness, we put them in a group setting where they're seeing other women and other men who are struggling with the same things. Women do dominate this business, by the way, but there are some men. We're putting them in a group setting where they're seeing other women with the same struggles, you know, the same amount of kids or more work hours or more, you know, physical ailments and sicknesses and whatever, who are pushing through, and it makes you go, oh, okay, if she can do this, I really don't have an excuse. And so that community is there to help pick you up when you're like, you guys, I cheated all weekend, I feel awful. Usually for me, that the cycle was I would mess up for a few days, and then I would say, oh, I ruined it, I failed. And then I would quit for a solid 6 months, and then I'd try again. And so it was like this nonstop cycle where I would start, stop. So when you're in this group and you see someone who cheats on the weekend or slips up that day, and then they post the next morning that they did their workout and that they got back on plan and they didn't waste 6 months, they just started the next day or the next meal, that's mind-blowing, and it really shifts your mindset. It starts with these health habits, but you'll start to see how that will trickle into other mindsets outside of health and just how you're looking at life, where you start to see like a slip up or a disappointment doesn't have to become me quitting. And it really seeps into just your mindsets about life in general. And we're all really unique. No one's the same in this business. And that's the coolest part about this, because that's what's going to draw people to you. I think a lot of people who are interested in coaching are really worried about, you know, how am I gonna get clients, or who's gonna want me to coach them? The honest to God truth is, the things about you that you think, like, if anyone knew this about me, they would never want me to coach them, those are actually the things that people want to know, and that's going to make them want to come to you, because it's their story too. They relate to it. I would think no one's going to want to come to me to be their coach because I struggle with depression. You know what? Actually, people who have depression want to link up with someone who has it and is actively working against it every day. We all have our examples of that. And so we're all unique. We all have different gifts, different strengths, and different struggles. Like I said, that's what's going to make you most appealing to the people who are kind of like your tribe, the people who are like you. Okay, so with coaching, there's kind of this, I would explain coaching in 2 words, basically. It's like a lot of learning and a lot of sharing. So from the beginning to the eternity of your coaching career, it really starts with you learning. So like I said, I had to learn about how to meal prep. I had to learn what it was going to take for me to show up every day to my workouts when I hated working out, kind of forming a system of motivation and accountability for myself, setting up strategies basically to combat my pitfalls, the things that I knew usually made me fall. I had to start learning how to set myself up for success against those things. So I was learning that. And then guess what? That created things for me to post about. I was able to start talking about and sharing what I was learning about. Then we teach you about challenge groups. You're going to learn how to participate in a challenge group, which is, like I said, it's those private groups where you check in every day on your workouts, your nutrition, how you're feeling, what you're struggling with. You're going to learn how to participate, and then you're going to learn how to lead those. And then when beautiful things start happening inside of those groups and people start getting results and people start messaging you to thank you for how you've changed their lives, you've got stuff to share about. You have testimonies now to share about. So it's this learn and share, learn and share. You're going to learn, like you are right now, about what's this whole coaching thing. Like, I've heard about this opportunity to become a coach. You're going to learn about it. And then you're going to learn from me and from other coaches how to talk about it in a non-pushy way, a non-salesy way, how to attract people to it just by walking it out. And then you're going to share about it. You're going to share about how coaching is blessing your life. At the beginning, my first paycheck was $40. And let me tell you, I screamed and I cried. I was so happy. I was so excited that not only was I healthier than ever, not only was I getting all these messages from people that I was inspiring them to get up and start changing something about their lives, no matter what they'd been through, but I made $40. Are you freaking kidding me? And some may laugh at $40, but it just, I don't know. I guess I've let myself just celebrate every little success along the way. And I think because I shared about it, that $40 pushed me to my $100, pushed me to my $200, pushed me to my $1,000, pushed me to my $2,000. And so it was celebrating everything along the way, learning along the way, and then sharing about everything I was learning along the way. Coaches, we do something called personal development. And basically what that is we acknowledge that our human brains are really good at beating ourselves up. We're really good at self-doubt. We're really good at quitting, at just really defeating ourselves up in our heads before we ever really have a chance to break out of, whatever it is you're trying to overcome. And so personal development is basically, we recommend we've got tons of lists of books, and basically personal development books are books that help you to really start seeing the reality of how stupid those mindsets are and how much you're holding yourself back. Some personal development is on, how you think about yourself. Some is about your habits, your time management, how to handle scheduling, how to interact better with people, how to relate to people, how to attract your tribe, how to, there's all kinds of topics. But so we all commit to reading 10 pages a day or listening to 10 minutes a day. And honestly, for me, it's addictive. And so I'll just turn on I listen to audiobooks. I hate to read, so I don't read books, but I will listen to audiobooks while I'm reading or while I'm driving or doing dishes or doing laundry. So there's that aspect of like, I'm learning about myself. I'm learning about my weaknesses, and I'm saying no more, and I'm working on those things. And then, like I said, there's something else I get to post about now. Now I have more material. I think people think about their lives and they're like, I'm so boring. Like, what could I ever post about that's going to inspire anybody or attract anybody? All of these things that are involved in coaching, it's all material for you to post about and inspire someone else. You're going to learn about social media. You do not have to be a social media pro. I actually had deleted my Facebook before I started coaching, and so I did not have like a huge following. I had community and friends and family that knew me and trusted me. And I did not have a big Instagram following like whatsoever. I don't know the number I started off with, but it was not big. It was not what it is now. And then you're going to learn how to engage people, how to talk to people in a non-salesy way, how to post in a non-salesy way, how to just share your story. That's stuff that you learn. And then you'll start sharing it with people who come to you and say, hey, I want to be a coach too. Kind of by you learning from me and from other coaches, you're going to learn from us, and then you're going to pass those same things down to anyone who comes to you and says they want to coach along with you. So learn and share, learn and share. You're never going to arrive, as a coach. You're never going to be like, oh, I know everything. I'm constantly still growing, still stretching myself, still trying to just become a better leader for our team. But I love that. I love that we each get to we just get to make ourselves more into who we always wanted to be. So yeah, one thing I know people wonder about, and I'll just go into it really quickly because honestly, the question amuses me, but it would be odd to not address it, is this a pyramid scheme? It just always makes me laugh. But okay, so maybe this is a term that you've heard and you don't actually know what it means if you've wondered about this. So a pyramid scheme is basically where people buy in and they don't actually get any product. They don't get anything. They're basically promised, if you buy in and then you get other people to buy in, you will get such and such. You'll get a car, or you'll get a vacation, or you'll get flight miles or whatever. And they don't actually get anything for their money. They have to get other people to also pay money to get anything. And usually there's not even a delivery of that thing, that like nothing ever actually comes of it. And so pyramid schemes, for one, they get shut down because they're illegal. And then if you think about, that's just like a broad explanation, but to dial it in even more, if you think about the structure of most, just take corporate America, you've got the CEO at the top and they're making absurd amounts of money. And then everyone who came in after that person, every staff member, every peon, whoever, they're doing the brunt of the work and they're making just exponentially less money than the person at the top. Whereas with the structure of coaching, I can be like, say I'm technically above Tamar and she came in after me. Tamar gets to decide if she's going to work harder than me, if she's going to help people more effectively and more ferociously than me, if she's going to share her story more vulnerably and authentically than me, if she's going to reach out to more people, if she's going to, post more videos and offer more support and give more recipes. If she wants to work harder than me, hands down, she's going to make more money than me. It's not like a higher up in the structure thing. You don't make more money because you're higher up. And so I love that about this business. You literally get to determine what your ceiling is. No one gets to tell you like, nope, you can't make that much money, like because you've only been in this many months or this many years. No, it's 100% up to us what we make. And so it's not a pyramid scheme. To get that out of the way. Let's see. I think I've already gone through a lot of the benefits of coaching, touched on accountability, obviously. Kind of when you put that word out there that you're going for it, or you just start to share with people that you don't even have to say like, oh, I'm a Beachbody coach now. You can. But even when you just start sharing like that you've been doing workouts and that you're on this meal plan and you got these results, and then either you go missing for a week or you start posting about, I don't know, eating cheese fries every single day, like, you've already put yourself out there. You're being held accountable now. Like I said, I still post when I eat Oreos or whatever, but it's not my norm. And so it really does hold you accountable. If you're anything like me, I care a lot about the integrity of my word. And so when I say something, it really kind of kicks it up a notch, that accountability thing. Whereas if I was just said to myself and maybe my best friend, like, I think I'm going to like work out and stuff. And then the next day hits and it's difficult and it's inconvenient and I can quit because no one really knew, like no one can call me out on it. But when I go public that I'm doing this meal plan and I've got 7 days straight of doing this workout plan, it kind of ups the accountability to stick with it and keep going. Travel, you don't have to travel as a coach. You certainly don't have to if that's doesn't sound fun to you or sounds stressful to you. But for those of us who love traveling, it's just ingrained in what coaching is. In my first 2 years of coaching, I earned 4 tropical trips. So twice to Florida, once to Cancun, and I got to bring a friend for free, and once to Jamaica and Bahamas on a cruise. And that's just in the first 2 years of coaching. And so if you decide to join, we can obviously tell you all about like how do you actually earn those trips. But travel is just ingrained into the coaching system. I think because a lot of people who are drawn to this whole coaching idea, it's part of that is because we really want that freedom of time. Like we don't want to be tied down necessarily to, I have to be in my city Monday through Friday, 50 weeks a year, 9 to 5. I want to see the world, or I want to go visit my family across the country, or I want to, take more than 14 days of vacation every year. But I have to do those things because I need to pay the bills, or I need to pay off my debt. We're really drawn to the opportunity of freedom of time and travel. And so they kind of build that in to where that's an incentive of choosing to go with coaching is, we get these reward trips is what they call them, Success Club reward trips. So travel, like I said before, you're the focus first. You come before, I don't know. If I were to stop taking care of myself, I lose all material to post about. The whole thing falls apart. Everything falls apart if I stop taking care of myself. And we love that about this, because you should always be the genuine source of what all this is coming from. And that there's no ceiling. There's no ceiling. Like I said, you determine how much you want to make with this. If you were to want to make 100 a week, or if you wanted to make 10,000 a week, that really is up to you. And there's no one who can really tell you like, nope, you can't make 100,000 a year. It's totally up to you. Okay. I think that's most of it. I'm going to show you a couple slides in a second here. Go through one last thing. Qualities of a great coach. This is a little like unconventional for me to say, but I just felt like I wanted to just be honest and say like, okay, let me be real with you. Like there are some things that I notice in people who make really great coaches. And so it kind of give you a chance to like do a self-check and go, either am I these things, or am I willing to work towards being these things? So this is just my opinion. You don't have to believe it or listen to it. But my opinion is as far as like what makes a great coach. Like I said before, you're determined to stop quitting. You're done with quitting. Even if you've always been a quitter, you're just over it and you're ready to draw a line in the sand. So you're done with quitting. You have a deep, deep reason for why you want to do this. If it's just like, I don't know, I kind of want to lose 10 pounds and it'd be cool to like see if I can make a couple dollars. Okay, great. If that's why you want to sign up, you absolutely can. Hopefully something deeper will develop for you. But if that's all that you were to ever land on for why you want to do it, I can pretty much guarantee you will not stick it out, because it's not convenient. This business isn't going to be convenient. You're going to have to do a workout when you don't want to. You're going to have to send messages when you don't want to. You're going to have to respond to messages when really all you want to do is Netflix. You're going to have to do things that are not convenient. And so in those times when I don't care about the paycheck, when I don't care about the travel, when I don't care about these other things, I have to have a deep, deep why, a reason why this is still important to me. And for me, that not always, but a lot of times that comes back to my depression and how I refuse to ever go back to that suicidal pit. And so you have to have a deep, deep why, and kind of why I hesitate saying this term, but like you need this. Even if you don't need it for money, if you don't need it for your depression, there's some part of this that you need. Even if it's in my blood to want to encourage other people and help other people. Okay, then you need this for that reason. But there has to be something in you that's like deeply connected to it for you to stick it out long term. Just being honest. And that could be dangerous for me to say, but I like to be honest and upfront. You're teachable. If you're doing something that one of us is like, hey, that's probably going to damage your business. You don't realize it, but let me just steer you in a better direction. You have to be able to go, oh my gosh, thank you for steering me in a better direction. Yes, I'm going to shift the way I'm doing things, instead of like, oh, I'm a failure, I quit. That the quitting mentality will not work. Unafraid of what people think. This one, I was not unafraid. I have just walked myself into habits that look like someone who is unafraid. And it has taught me how to live as someone who is unafraid. So it doesn't mean you're not allowed to have fears. You're not allowed to, worry about like, oh, what will they think if I post this, or what will people say, or whatever. I have those thoughts. I still have those thoughts. I get super uncomfortable posting about my income. I worry what people will think, but then I shift my brain and go, what's important to me? Who could I inspire? Who needs to hear this? Are they not worth more than my fears? So someone who's at least willing to sharpen their unafraid abilities. Okay. And then someone who's resilient, someone who, when people say no, or, a challenger joins and then they quit, or a coach joins and then they quit. You're not going to let that be the thing that makes you quit. You're resilient. You will stand up the day after you fall on your face, or the day after you're discouraged. You'll stand back up and you'll keep going. Resilient people do amazing in this job. And someone who will share their deeper story. You can post sweaty selfies. You can post, a picture of your shake. Those things are fine and great. But I guarantee you, if you are willing to share the story behind why you're working out, the emotional turmoil you've been through that led you to this point of wanting to work on your health, if you share those things, that is the sweet spot. That is what people are craving. They don't need to see another, there are enough, products out there and shakes, and there's enough out there. They're really looking for someone whose story they relate to. So if you're willing to share your deeper story, that's a mark of an amazing, amazing, amazing coach career. Promise you. Okay. I'll stop there. Well, not stop. I'm going to show you guys some slides real quickly. And this is kind of the logistics stuff that maybe isn't fun to talk about, but I know that these are probably questions that you have. Just one second. My Mac is really, really slow. Okay. Share screen. All right. And hopefully you guys will be able to see this. Just one second. Okay. Can you see my screen? Awesome. Okay. Oh man, that's not going to work. Okay. So what earns us money? Actually, let me make sure I didn't miss a slide here. Yeah. Okay. I did miss. Oh, there's some pictures of me and our team. It's what I looked like before. Oh. And that's what I look like now. At the top right, that's some of our team. Like I said, we're just like family and really support each other inside the business and honestly out of the business too, just about life stuff. It's awesome, the support and community that you get just from stepping into this. Okay, so there are 3 kinds of coaches. The first is you just want to be in it for the discount. Like I said, that's how I started off. I only signed up to be a coach to get the discount. I wanted nothing more. So if that's fine, you can sign up. You're basically like a VIP customer. You just want to stay a customer and get support that you need, but you want to do it longer term. You want to keep getting Shakeology, or you like to buy programs whenever they come out. You can get the 25% discount on Shakeology products, whatnot. Then there's hobby coaches, which is kind of like the level 2 coach who wants a discount. And then they want that heightened accountability. Maybe they're going to make some posts about what they're doing. They're going to share their journey, but they're not actively trying to progress and grow their income. And anytime somebody asks them about their programs or what they're doing, they can refer their friends. They're going to have a personalized link that they can say, oh yeah, okay, you want to try Shakeology? Here's a link. Here's how you can buy it. And then that person, the hobby coach, is going to get a 25% commission on whatever they refer their friends and family to. You don't have to do it. There's no obligation, but they have that option because they have the coach account, but they're really just treating it as a side hobby. And I have at the bottom, if you were to help 3 people a month, that would cover the cost for you to be able to get Shakeology and basically not be paying for it. That would cover that cost. So that was my first goal when I became a coach. I didn't want to have to be paying for Shakeology. And that would be my goal, to help you be able to do the same thing. Okay. Hopefully I didn't just freeze. My computer says that I did. All right. And then the final kind of coach which is what I am. So like I said, I started as a discount coach and now I'm a career coach. So I get the discount, I get the commission, I've got the heightened accountability. Like I talked about, there's the travel. You can do part-time. You can make it into a part-time job. Not everyone wants to leave their jobs. I left all 3 of my other jobs one by one, but you don't have to. Maybe you love being a teacher, but you just know teaching, though it fills your cup emotionally or as far as your job, it's it's never going to pay you enough to, take the family trips that you want to take, or to pay off the debt that you want to pay off, or build the house that you want, whatever your dream is. For me, mission work is a huge thing. And so, maybe you won't be able to do the mission work that you want to do. So you really, as a career coach, you can do this as a part-time side thing, but to pursue it with real intentionality and discipline in the short time each day that you have to devote to it. So it can be part-time, or like me, that can be the only job that you do. You can retire yourself. You can retire your spouse. A lot of people, that's their goal, is to retire their spouse. I don't have a spouse, so my goal is to retire my daddy because he's too old, in my opinion, to be working. And then the other thing is bonuses, which I'm going to go into. Career coaches are really making it a goal to not just make commissions, but to make bonuses. And so I'm going to go over in just a second how you earn a bonus, what a bonus is. Okay. There we go. So how do we earn our money? Like I mentioned, we make a 25% commission on most of our sales. That's the lowest commission, I guess, that you would make. And then some types of sales are all the way up to 40%. And I won't overload you with which sales make what kind, but typically you're going to be making about at least a 25% commission on anything that you sell. And then we earn bonuses. So bonuses are basically, like I said, that's going to be for someone who's taking it a little more seriously. I did start making bonuses when I was kind of in the hobby stage. And that's really what pushed me to go, this is legitimate. I can make more money than, I don't have to just be a sales pusher. I don't have to be a sales machine. There's ways to build a long-term, sustainable, residual income outside of me just selling. Because personally, I don't ever want to sell so much to so many people that I don't have enough time and energy to help them. Like, the whole beauty of this business is that when someone buys from me, I'm actually there to answer their questions and to encourage them and celebrate them when they fit into those jeans, or when they get to that goal weight, or they get off of their depression meds or whatever. I want to actually have the time and energy to be there and be present and be there with them for that. And so I don't want my income to depend just on selling. And so the bonuses, that part is really important. And basically, how you make bonuses, long story short, is that you make bonuses based off of how successful are the coaches beneath you doing. So I love this about our business. It's beautiful because I can't just be a one-man show. I can't just go, I'm just going to sell and make buku bucks, and I'm not going to pay attention to anyone or help anyone. And I'm going to make it to the top by myself. The only way you make amazing bonuses is by for me to reach down to my coaches and go, what parts of this coaching thing are hard for you? How can I help you? Okay, you're struggling with how to talk about Shakeology. Here's how you do that. Oh, you're struggling with how to run a challenge group. Here's how you do that. You're struggling with your time management. Here's how you do that. When I help my coaches be successful, I make a bonus. And so that's what forces this team dynamic. And I love that. I'm appreciative that it forces me to pay it forward. And because of that, I now have I have these family members essentially who are super close with me. I work with them every day, and they add so much to my life in and out of the business. Just to paint like a picture for you guys, when I first started, my paychecks were maybe a couple $100s a week from commission from what I was selling. And now my paychecks are still only a couple $100s a week from what I'm selling. Except, as you heard at the beginning of the call, every week I make about $1,200 to $2,000 per week. Only a couple $100s of that is from what I sold, which means the rest of that each week is from bonuses. And so, just to give you a picture of like how legitimate it is, and yeah, it's not just like some fairy tale thing. It's very real. Okay. And then you also make a different kind of bonus, which is based upon your coach rank. I'm not going to go deeply into that, but just so that you know, every quarter there are rank bonuses, and basically depending on whatever rank you've reached as a coach, which if you decide to sign up, you'll hear all about different ranks and what they're called and how you get there and whatnot. But every single quarter, there's like a bonus pool, and they split up that bonus pool depending on what rank you're at. And so that rank can be anywhere from, it says 1,000 here. It's actually I think the lowest bonus ranking is like maybe $600 for that quarter. You would get a $600 check in that quarter, all the way up to like a $50,000 quarterly bonus check. So every single quarter, depending on how hard you want to work, how passionate you are about the business, how resilient you are, how much of your story and your struggles you're willing to share, all up to you. But so those are kind of the different ways that you earn commission, team bonuses from helping your team, and then quarterly bonuses from whatever rank you choose to promote yourself to as a coach. All right. So what are the different sign-up options? So just to break it down really simple, there are basically two options for how to sign up as a coach. You can sign up with a challenge pack. So that's this is what most people do. This is what I did. When you choose a workout program that's going to fit your goals, your needs, what you're wanting to work on. You're going to choose your workout program, your Shakeology flavor, and then they're going to waive. Usually it's $40 to pay to become a coach. When you buy that challenge pack with the workout program and Shakeology, they waive that $40 fee and you get to sign up as a coach for free. So whether you decide you're like, I just want to be a challenger, you're going to pay that same amount as you would to be a challenger and get the discount, sign up as a coach. It's free when you do it at the same time. So that's what most people do. Other people who have already purchased a challenge pack, they already have Shakeology or they already have the program, you can just pay $40 to sign up to become a coach because maybe you don't need anything. You're happy with your workout program. Lots of people want a new, fresh program to, get them excited again. And so they'll do the challenge pack anyways, even if they have a program and they have Shakeology, they know they're going to want it again anyway. So they just buy the challenge pack and get it waived. If you don't want to do that, you can pay the $40. And depending on how recent, I believe if you have purchased the rules on this just recently changed, but if you've purchased a challenge pack in the past, you pay the $40 to sign up, and then you can get it refunded. You would just fill out a form really quickly online and they would refund it. But there's just no way in the system for them to sign you up as a coach without paying that $40. So that's why you have to sign up and then get the refund. So those are two ways: buy a challenge pack, get the fee waived, or just pay the $40 to become a coach. Obviously, if you're going to become a coach, you don't want to, you want to actually have an authentic story. As I talked about, this is really all about you really using this system in your life and showing that it's so powerful, because it really, really is. So you want to be actually using the programs. You actually want to be following the meal plans. So I don't recommend just signing up and having no intentions to actually use any of this in your life. People will smell that from a mile away that you're just trying to make a quick buck. And quite honestly, we don't really want that on our team, if I can be honest. Okay, last slide, I believe. Did I miss one? Oh, that might be it. What interest money, sign up options. Okay, that was all. So let me stop the share. Yeah, that was all. Okay, so I'll just give you quick next steps for anyone who's either on right now or is watching the recording. If you decided to become a coach, talk to whoever it was that invited you here, and they'll walk you through, what link to use to sign up. They'll help you figure out if you want to choose a workout program. If your coach is new and they're nervous and they don't, you guys can come to me. I can help you to figure out what program you need and to make sure that you sign up correctly. If you, I can help you with all of that. So you sign up, you're going to get a welcome email. If you're with me or if you're with one of my downline coaches, they should all kind of be using the same kind of system. You're going to get a welcome email. They're going to add you to, a coach group on Facebook where you can basically ask your questions and just stay up to date on important things. We post great trainings in there, videos for you to watch. Again, you can ask your questions and really learn from other coaches in that group how to get started, what you should be doing, ask them questions. When you start to take on clients, like I said, because we are not fitness or nutrition, we're not fitness professionals or nutrition professionals, you don't know all the questions that people ask you. They're like, what can I, does this, I don't know. They'll ask you stuff that you're like, I don't know about that. It's okay. You just say, you know what, actually, I'm not sure. Let me go ask the other coaches and see if anyone knows about this. And you can come into the coach group and go, do you guys know anything about, what people with diabetes should do for this situation? Or, is it okay for breastfeeding? You come into the coach group and have that support. You never have to feel like you have to know everything. So you're going to be added to the coach group. We've got orientation videos for you that in the group where you'll watch and kind of give you what are my first steps. I've made a team training site to show you what to do to get started. we have team calls every week. So for example, tonight at 9:15, right after we get off of this call, I'm going to be leading a team call for all of my coaches and their coaches to answer their questions and give them tips and give them ideas and training and just really cultivate that sense of like, you're not in this alone. You don't have to know how to do everything. You don't have to be perfect. It's okay if you're nervous. It's okay if you're discouraged today. Like, we're in this for real. We're going to help each other out. And we do these calls every week. So we've got team calls. And then the company actually puts on a national call every single Monday morning. And they bring on executives and trainers and other coaches who just have really mastered certain areas of the business. And they give us their tips. They give us their ideas. They give us really awesome, basically ideas for how to approach different aspects of the business. And so there's a ton of support, a ton of resources available to you. You don't have to know how to do this. None of us know how to do this when we come in. When I came in, my coach, the girl who signed me up, I was the first person she signed up as a coach. So we were both we had no guidance. We didn't have a team site to go to. We didn't have team calls. We didn't have any of the stuff that you guys are going to have at your hands. And so that's all to say, you're going to have a ton of support. And even if you didn't have us, this is something that really comes down to like your hunger and your desire to implement the blessings of these things in your life. Team calls, national wake up call. You can schedule one-on-one calls with me, or if you're here with a different coach, you can have one-on-one training and help from them. And then again, like I said, the coach group where you can always dial into support there. So those are kind of the next steps. I want to open it up now for Q&A if any of you have a question, and if not, that's totally fine. But I always just want to make sure, sometimes, I don't know, like I said, I don't stick to an exact script. So sometimes there are things that maybe I went over too fast, or you have questions about. Those of you who are listening on the phone, I think if you tap on your screen, the little microphone should pop up. And if you tap that, it will unmute you. And then you can ask your question. And if you don't have a question, that's totally fine. I'll give it a second and see if anybody unmutes themselves. Any questions about how to sign up, next steps? Any specific questions? Nope, doesn't look like it. Stop me. I'm going to talk a little bit and stop me if you do have a question. But yeah, so if you're on right now, or if you've been listening to this as a recording, super honored that you felt safe enough to reach out to me or the coach that invited you here, or that maybe they invited you here and you just took their word like with value. You valued it and you went, if they think I would be good for this, like I feel flattered by that. Or you took the time to be here. So I don't take that lightly. Super happy that you came to listen. I hope that you heard something in your story that you went like, yeah, I can relate to that. I've always been a quitter, or I've never actually been able to stick to something, and I really want to take care of myself instead of just pouring into my kids and never pouring into myself. Or I want to make more than my teaching job provides or my nursing job provides. Really, teachers and nurses are like the biggest heroes in the world to me. So underappreciated, so underpaid, and do the most remarkable, like steadfast work. But I digress. So yeah, like hopefully you heard something here tonight that made you go, yeah, okay. And like I said, there's no pressure here. This isn't a strings attached thing where because we did this call for you, like now you have to do it. We really want people who see the greatness of this opportunity and want to go for it. You're not going to know exactly how to do it, but you're willing to figure it out as you go. And basically stand up after you quote unquote fail, like after you make a bad post and nobody responds to it. Oh my God, did you ruin your career? No, you didn't. Like just keep going, like make another post the next day. I should say this, we don't just post about health and fitness. People will be annoyed if you just do that. It's a big part of our training that your life now is what you share. So things about parenting, the books that you're reading, the trips that you're going on, whatever you're learning, whatever you're facing in life, that's what you turn into a post. And so unless you're like, I don't know, Shaun T or Tony Horton, you really shouldn't only be posting about health and fitness, because your life involves other things. And it's those other things that are going to attract people to you. They're going to go, ooh, she's really into fashion too. Ooh, she loves to garden too. Oh, she loves to travel to Africa too. Like whatever it is that's unique about you, you post about those things, and that's what will attract people to you. and make them open to listening to you talk about your health and fitness. And then when they want to get healthy and fit, you're the first person that will come to their minds because they relate to you and they feel safe with you. So I should have talked about that, but I didn't. Okay, I will stop talking. I'm super happy you were all here. And please reach out to me or whoever invited you to listen to the call. Ask your questions. And like I said, check out the website that I have that explains things. If you haven't seen it yet, it's www.whatiscoaching.weebly, which is WEEBLY.com. Whatiscoaching.weebly.com, and that's where I've got some information set up to explain the gist of coaching if you wanted to take a look at that. But I pretty much went over most of it tonight on the call. But some people are readers and they want to read through that information. So yeah, reach out to whoever invited you. Let us know if you want to do a challenge pack with a sign up or if you just need to just do the sign up. And yeah, all right, guys, thanks so much for coming. Don't hesitate to reach out and ask us your questions.